What's up, guys? It's Devil Rim back with another NBA video, and the season is starting it's Monday, so starts tomorrow, I think. So that's obviously super awesome. And I just wanted to give a little season preview, little season opener. Just some predictions. I'm not doing over unders, or I'm not doing exact predictions, but it's just gonna be like a general what my feelings are about the league this year and my preliminary predictions for how this season is going to play out. So, first of all, I think it's really tough to predict these things, but my philosophy in general is um, the unknown teams, it's hard to quantify. Like, everyone's high on the Pelicans, and I'm just not going to consider the Pelicans a title contender. They have to prove it to me in order for that to happen. So, without further ado, I'll just kind of give my general rankings in the conferences. The West is really tough because Clippers, who everyone loves, and they're obviously a great team. They obviously have a lot of good players, but they don't have a lot of continuity, and Kawhi Leonard is super injury prone. So if I had to bet, I would not bet on the Clippers. I don't think they're going to win the championship. They could make the second round. They can make the third round. They could maybe make the finals even, but I don't see them winning 4 rounds, especially because Kawhi is so injury prone. They're going to be a lower seed, so they're going to have to play away a lot in the playoffs. And thirdly, they just don't have a lot of continuity. So I think the Clippers are going to be 4 to 6 range. They're going to be not that top tier, but they're going to make sure to stay out of the play-in. I think is going to be what their ultimate goal is. I don't think Golden State's going to get the 1 seed just because they're going to want to rest Clay, Draymond, and Steph, and then Steph always gets injured for a little bit each year. He'll probably miss like 5 to 20 games, just depending. And yeah, they have a lot of good young guys, but we saw last year without Draymond, their defense really takes a hit, and without Steph, their offense really takes a hit. So maybe Jordan Poole can fill in for that, but if Steph's out, but no one can really fill in for Draymond much. So I think the Warriors will probably have a very similar season to last year in terms of wins. I think they're over the regular season thing, just because they already went 73-9 and lost the championship. So I think they're probably going to be the 2 seed this year. Actually, if I was to 2 to 3, they're not going to be the 1, 2 to 3, right? And now, who do I think is going to be that top tier seed in the Western Conference? Well, I think Denver is. Denver is going to be the number 1 seed. I don't have them as my championship favorite, but I think Denver is going to be the 1 seed. And super hot take, I think Timberwolves are going to be the 2 or 3 seed. I mean, they just are so built for the regular season. I love Kyle Anderson as a pickup. Austin Rivers is honestly a solid pickup. I really wish they had traded D'Angelo Russell for Rudy Gobert and kept Patrick Beverley because I think he was so important for them, and D'Lo is horrible. But that's besides the point. I think the Timberwolves are going to be a 2 or 3 seed. I think the Warriors are going to be a 2 or 3 seed. And I think the Nuggets are going to be the 1 seed, bar none. Jokic is just a monster by himself. Last year, he was the 6 seed, right? And then he now gets Jamal Murray back and Michael Porter Jr. back. So, I think the Nuggets are going to be the 1 seed. I think, I'll just be more concrete about it. Nuggets 1, Timberwolves 2, Warriors 3. I think Phoenix probably going to be 4, Clippers 5, Dallas 6, New Orleans 7, and Memphis 8. I know, super hot take. Memphis being low. My general feeling on Memphis is that they do not have Jaren Jackson Jr. for half the season. They lost DeAnthony Melton and Kyle Anderson, 2 crucial parts to their depth, in my opinion. And Ja Morant is super injury prone. So I just don't think they can replicate what they did last year. I think it was kind of lightning in a bottle, and I think they're going to take a huge step back in the regular season. But yeah, I know it's just so tough because obviously, I'm not saying this is going to be right, but this is just kind of my feeling. I think Memphis is going to take a big step back because of everything I listed out. Now, my team, the Blazers, sadly, in the offseason, I was like, yeah, we could be a top 4 seed for sure. We added a bunch of defensive players, Gary Payton II, Jeremy Grant, you know. We got all this defensive, we got rid of CJ. We got, we're on the up and up. But I don't know. Seeing the preseason, and I know you can't overreact to preseason, but seeing the preseason, really thinking about what those additions mean in the Blazers' case, it just makes me less confident in that. And I think they're probably going to be 9 to 11 seed along with the Lakers and the Kings. Just swap those 3 around. They could end up anyway. And then obviously, you got the bottom, the Utah, OKC, San Antonio, and that's it. Utah, OKC, San Antonio. Am I forgetting anyone? Oh, and Houston. Yeah, Houston at the bottom. All right, so that's the West. So you can kind of get my general feeling. I think the Timberwolves are going to be a huge regular season team. I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to stay around the same. Warriors are going to stay around the same. Denver is going to improve a lot. Memphis is going to take a big step back. Phoenix is going to take a step back. Just because Chris Paul's older, they don't have Jay Crowder. I don't know what's up with Jay Crowder, but he's super important to their team. Cam Johnson just can't defend. And Ayton's obviously annoyed. Now to look at the East, as I watch Blazer games and as I watch a lot of Warriors games, I see a lot more Western Conference play. I don't watch that much Eastern Conference play. My top 3 watch teams last year were. Or I guess I watched quite a bit of Celtics last year, actually, but I don't know. I just haven't really seen much of the Eastern Conference, so I'm not as confident about my kind of general feeling towards their rosters. But I don't think Boston's going to get the 1 seed. I mean, Robert Williams is super important for their defense. Al Horford is older, not as recouped. I think Boston will still be in the 2 to 3, maybe 4 kind of range. Definitely some home court. Miami. Probably, they seem like they'll be in a similar spot. Like I said, they lost PJ Tucker, who's also a huge part of their regular season. In Philadelphia, another sexy top seed pick is Joel Embiid is one of the most injury-prone players in the entire NBA. So it's just very hard, I feel like, to predict the top seeds of the East. Now you can say Milwaukee. And, I think I am inclined to say Milwaukee is going to be a top seed, but I think they don't really care about the regular season as much as they used to a few years ago. But they do have, in my opinion, the least hurdles. Obviously Chris Middleton is out, but, Giannis is the best player in the league, so if Giannis is playing 30 minutes a night, you got a great chance to win, regardless of who's around him, So the top 4 seeds are going to be Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, in my opinion. Now that leaves Brooklyn. Brooklyn. What to do with Brooklyn? A team that you could say is on the same tier, but they've had so many problems that it's just hard to, that's just the most unpredictable. So Brooklyn's just going to be in the 5 spot. I could see them being in the top 4, but, they have too many unknowns. They just are such a strange team. KD's injury prone these days. Kyrie's always been injury prone. And a lot of people, when they talk about the standings, they're like, oh, I think the Clippers are going to be the number 1 seed unless injuries happen. But I feel like that's so disingenuous because there's certain players that have certain injury histories that you can look at, or certain play styles of players where you can look at and kind of know or predict the likeliness of them getting injured. So I feel like that has to, that has to affect your evaluation of those teams. And a lot of people don't do that. So I feel like that's something a little more unique, how I rank teams, because I really try to factor in the injuries. And I think, probably Toronto is going to be, Toronto and Cleveland too. The East is just hard to predict. There's a lot of unknowns, a lot of new stuff going on. Brooklyn, I don't know what to do with. Toronto, I just love Toronto. Cleveland, I love Cleveland. I think Donovan Mitchell's really good. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not really too confident about the East, to be honest. But yeah, I think, I don't know, man. Maybe Cleveland will, I don't know, man. It's tough. There's the top 7 of the East is really good. And then it kind of drops off a cliff. So, Yeah, Cleveland's definitely going to be in the top 7. Is Cleveland really going to be a 7th seed? They still do have a little bit of a weird team with a lack of wing play. So, you know what? Fuck it. Cleveland's going to be the 7th seed. Toronto's going to be the 6th seed. Brooklyn's going to be the 5 seed. And then I already listed the top 4 seeds. Now, the next tier of teams, Chicago, New York, Washington, are in that 8, 9, 10 range, in my opinion. And then you got your Detroits, your Charlottes, your Orlandos, and your Indiana as the remaining team. Oh, Atlanta, too. Dang, I forgot about Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta will probably be in that play-in fight, too. Kind of in a similar position as they were last year. Yeah, man, the East is hard. East is hard to predict. I don't really know what's going to go on. All I know is Milwaukee's going to be good, Boston's going to be good, Philly's going to be good. And that's it. Miami might take a big step back, actually. Just thinking about it a little more, but I don't know. They're so well run. They always find good players. Jimmy Butler is amazing, and they have like a top 3 coach in the league, so it's so hard to bet against, that. Yeah, sorry if I couldn't give more concrete Eastern Conference predictions, but I'm just trying to be honest. I'm trying to view my thought process, and I don't know everything. I don't know how the East is going to shake out. I'm more confident about the West. But now to talk about some playoff predictions. Oh, MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years. You know what? Defensive Player of the Year is tough. I could see Draymond winning it if he plays enough games. Rudy Gobert, obviously, but I think they're tired of giving Rudy the Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go Draymond. I'm going to go Draymond DPOY. Just because I think he's also going to be super motivated. Just due to, the whole situation that's been going on with the Warriors. So, yeah, DPOY Draymond. MVP? It's tough because Jokic, if they get the 1 seed and Jokic is balling out, I think Jokic is going to win it. I think the Nuggets are going to have the best record in the NBA. I think they're going to be like 60 wins. So, I'm going to say MVP Jokic again. He's going to three-peat the MVP. It's pretty crazy. And then Sixth Man of the Year, I don't care about. It's just a stupid award. I wish it was more focused on a minutes threshold rather than a starting threshold. Because like Tyler Hero, Sixth Man of the Year, but he played 30 minutes a game or whatever. He was closing games, and it's like you're not a sixth man, bro. You're just a starter who comes off the bench, right? And it's like I think in order to be the true Sixth Man of the Year, you have to play like under 25 minutes a game or something like that, in my opinion. And I also think you should value other things besides scoring, like Iguodala back in the day. Yeah, I guess he closed games though a lot too. But like players like Kevin Love last year, who maybe he wasn't the biggest scorer, but he provided great spacing, leadership, and all this kind of stuff. Like he could have won Sixth Man of the Year, and I think he deserved it. Or like more defensive oriented, like a Jared Vanderbilt type player, or like a Jaden McDaniels type player. Just like players who are more defensively oriented, who aren't just like ISOing and getting buckets off the bench. Like players who really contribute to the team in a low minutes role, like in all facets of the game. So I don't really care who wins Sixth Man of the Year. I mean, probably, Hero's probably going to start. Maybe Poole wins it just because, Clay's still got to start just with how everything works. But, I don't really know. I don't know all the six mans, like off the top of my head like that. So then, yeah, Coach of the Year, maybe Michael Malone if the Nuggets have like the best record in the NBA by far. So it's going to be one of those kind of seasons. So now my playoff predictions. And I know this is a long video, but if I had to do my playoff power rankings for the West, like just power rankings, like obviously Golden State, they just won it, so you got to give them respect. They didn't really struggle with anyone in the playoffs. That's a key, right? They made handiwork. 5 games against the Nuggets, 6 games against the Grizzlies, 5 games against the Mavericks, and then 6 games against the Celtics. They didn't even have to play a Game 7 in the entire playoffs. Like I don't know, that's a pretty dominant run if you ask me. It's obviously not all-time dominant, but it's still like, this was the best team by far. Not by far, but like this was definitely the best team in the playoffs. They made handiwork out of, like, they quickly dispatched of all the great of the other playoff teams they faced. So, you got to give Golden State number 1 power ranking in the West. Number 2, probably Denver, man. Like, I don't know. Denver, I just don't think plays good enough defense, though. And the Clippers, like I said, I don't think they're going to be healthy. I don't think they have enough continuity, so I can't really put so much stock in them. So I think I'm going to have Denver as the second best playoff team. The Clippers is the third best. Phoenix is the fourth best. And those are kind of the upper echelon championship contenders in my view in the West. And in the East, it's kind of similar. I think Boston, obviously, Miami, Milwaukee, and who does that four stop get? You know, Philly and Brooklyn, honestly. There's kind of five that could win it. Like I said, I would probably rank Brooklyn fifth in the power rankings. I'd probably say Milwaukee one in the power rankings, Boston number two, Philadelphia number three, Miami four, Brooklyn five. And that's kind of what I think. So if I had to guess the championship, and I know this is a pretty basic take, but Milwaukee Golden State, man. And if that is the finals matchup, Golden State is gonna, like, I don't think people understand that the Bucks defense is built around stopping at the rim scoring, right? That is what it's built upon. They concede threes to stop inside scoring. And if that's your defensive strategy, and if that's how you play defense throughout the entire season, and you face the Warriors in the playoffs, good luck, dude. Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, they're going to cook you. It's just that simple. They're going to cook you. And then you've got Michael Green, who's a capable three-point shooter. Moses Moody, Dante DiVincenzo, Andrew Wiggins. Like, they have so much. They have amazing shooting. They have, like, the best shooting in the league, top tier. They have great, like, mid-level shooting. And it's like, if that's your defensive strategy, the Warriors are going to shred you apart. Like, it's just that simple. So I think, if that's the series, and I think that's probably the most likely outcome, Milwaukee, Golden State, those are kind of the two best teams. I think Golden State would, beat Milwaukee in, 5 or 6 games because of the Bucks' defensive strategy, not necessarily because of their talent, right? I think the talent-wise, if it was just strictly based on talent, Giannis is unstoppable. But, if you're going to defend the Warriors by conceding threes, which is how the Bucks have always defended, that's why Miami was able to beat them a few years ago. That's why when Bud coached the Hawks, LeBron teams shredded him. Those Cavs teams shredded him from the three-point line. Like, this Mike Budenholzer's strategy has always been concede the three, take away the two. And that's, plays into the Warriors' hands. Even though their games, they love scoring inside, it's like, oh, you're just going to give us threes? Steph Curry's just going to start pulling up. Pulling up. Klay Thompson pulling up. And it's like, you can't stop that. You're going to lose. And, maybe if this season, hopefully they practice new defensive philosophies, but, Bud's been doing this for 8 years now, so I can't really see him changing it. But yeah, so those are my predictions. That's kind of my general feeling about the season. Thank you for watching, and signing off. I'll probably react to tomorrow's Warriors game. So you'll see me tomorrow. Peace out.